Oh, you're testing me. There we go. I'm in the wrong. Hey, what's up, chat? Are we? I literally told you I was hitting the button. Yeah.
Fernando Alonso has gone from Alpine to Aston Martin. That's going to be one of our key topics for today. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Thank you so much. I'm Gregson. That guy, nope, did it wrong again. That guy is Chad. And we have a couple of new things here got going on. We have our stars counter at the bottom of the screen, you guys can see. So a new thing here is you guys can support us with stars if you like these streams and you want to see us do more cool stuff with cars or stuff with streams. You can support us by sending us stars. It's like a digital gift to say we like what you do. So if you want to do that, you can go ahead and do it. But we have our top three. Chad, which is this guy.
Penalty points for restarting a race last week.
Yeah, he donated himself to he donated himself to himself because he had stars randomly in his account. So he's like, why not? And then the man, the myth, the legend, Jafar, who has been donating each time. Appreciate that. And then Jorge Aragon, I think he donated a little while ago. And it was great to see on a drive I did. So you guys, if you guys want to get on the leaderboard, you got to donate. So if you want to do that, go ahead and send stars to show your support. So we got a lot going on today. We're going to talk about, like I said, Fernando Alonso. Well, obviously Sebastian Vettel. If you guys like Formula One, Sebastian Vettel has announced his retirement from Formula One, which is big news because anytime a four-time world champion leaves any sport, it's big news. So that would be like Steph Curry retiring from the NBA right now because he just won his fourth NBA championship. So Sebastian
Right,
Vettel
with
retiring.
random NBA analogies.
I don't know. I don't like watching the NBA, but I like watching NBA YouTube videos for some reason. But yeah, so Sebastian Vettel's gone end of the season, and almost immediately was talked about Fernando Alonso taking his place at Aston Martin, which is pretty random. So now there's an open seat at Alpine, and there's open seats all over the place. But one of the things we wanted to talk about was, do you guys, first and foremost, like Formula One? Do you follow Formula One? And two, are you surprised about this? And obviously, we'll start with Chad. What do you think about this entire process? And then I'll go into my whole spiel about it because I don't have strong opinions about it, but I'm pretty surprised.
By the way, that's a fake alert.
Oh, nice. I was like, wait, you sent another 100 stars to us?
No,
Thanks, man.
not yet. Well, anyone who follows the stream, well, maybe not. We got some new faces in new places. Well, this place is the same. In any rate, before I say more dumb things, before I say the more dumb things, I'm a big F1 fan. I've been an F1 fan since I can remember. I remember F1, endurance racing, and World Rally Championship was the sole reason Speed Channel was the only thing on my TV pretty much ever. Fernando Alonso, I've kind of gone back and forth. Liked him, didn't like him. I never really liked him at first because I'm kind of a front runner, was a Schumacher fan for forever, and Alonso sort of ended that. But he was cool, he wasn't cool, he was a dick to Hamilton, then he became a cool guy again, then he raced other stuff like Indy, Le Mans, all this other stuff. I actually really I don't get this move at all. Not even a little bit. There's a couple things going on here. Number one, it's not like he was going to win an F1 title at Renault, Alpine, Daphne, whatever you want to call the French Formula One team. But they were, I mean, Ocon just had a pretty good race, pretty good result. He's had fairly decent results, and Aston Martin has not. And it's owned by Lawrence Stroll. And you have to deal with the fact that Lawrence owns the team and his son drives for the team, so it's a bit of a cluster. There hasn't been a lot of touchy-feely rumors coming out of that camp.
Yep.
And then you have the car itself, which is the carcass of it. Well, I guess actually not even with the new cars, but originally it was effectively a Force India chassis that was rebranded, and it used to be pretty good, and this car isn't. So,
right.
I mean, are you bringing Fernando along to develop Lance? Are you bringing it to develop the car? How much can you actually do? How much money does Lawrence actually have for the F1? There's a lot going on. And then the last part of that is we all know Fernando, like I just said, likes to drive other stuff.
Right.
F1, and specifically sports cars. And it was announced about a month ago that Fernando would be one of the drivers in an Alpine prototype going for overall wins at Le Mans. And I don't know how this affects it, but it can't be good for it. Like, they might still want...
I mean, if there's a contract in place, it's fine, I would imagine, but I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's just... You left us, now you want to drive for us. Oh, Aston Martin's hypercar program is dead. What are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There's just a lot of weird things, and I know money talks. And maybe Alonso relishes the idea of taking this guy that everybody hates and making him into something. Well, so, I don't know. I don't really... I don't feel the move. Not that I was a big Alpine fan. I categorically root against the French and everything, so who knows, but before but yeah, I don't know, man. God, AE is back in the chat. What's up, buddy?
AE. What's up, AE?
Seb is leaving, but it will be hard for Alonso to fill the spot. Maybe. I mean, it depends. Like, you look at Seb, won 4 in a row, didn't do much at Ferrari, didn't do much, obviously, at Aston Martin. I'm not taking away from the greatness that is Sebastian Vettel. I'm just saying it's the shoes at Aston Martin aren't the Red Bull shoes, right? So you go from there.
Right.
So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so before I get to that, actually, Mike Seja, or Seha, has an interesting point. Not at all surprising, because Aston Martin was very clear in wanting an experienced winning driver on their team, and that's why they hired Vettel. That's actually part of my point, so I wanted to read that comment first. So when Stroll kind of came in and was like, I want to rebrand, I want to do this with Aston Martin, I need a driver. Obviously, he has his own son on the team, which he believes in and is a good driver. He wouldn't be in F1 otherwise. I know it's sort of a buy-in thing, but
I disagree. But
let's be honest. Like, I mean, he is halfway decent. He's not. Look, he's not Nicholas Latifi, and Nicholas Latifi I don't think is a good driver at all. He's not Pastor Maldonado, who shouldn't have been in an F1 car in the first place. Should have been in a demolition derby. But I mean, Stroll has shown that he does have potential. At least in that capacity. Getting Seb and bringing him onto the Aston Martin team as like a person to win, sure, I get that. However, your car is clearly not there. So when Seb's retiring, bringing on Alonso to sort of like further that, to me, doesn't make sense. I think you should be developing more new talent as opposed to getting Alonso to be that, win now or old guard sort of person to, maybe help shepherd your son, if you're Lawrence Stroll, to keep fighting and keep moving up. I don't know. It seems like a very strange move. I get why they wanted to hire Seb for the car, and they did. And I get why they want to hire Alonso for the car, because I think it's that same sort of mentality. But I don't understand why you're replacing an aging F1 legend with another, even older F1 legend. And I think that Fernando is a better driver right now than Vettel is. Um, I wouldn't have said that, 3 or 4 years ago when Seb was at Ferrari, because he was very competitive and competing for championships until Mercedes then just was like, nope. And they decided to, drop the hammer and be like, yeah, we're going to win 7 straight constructors championships. Cool. Thanks. Bye. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I find it a very strange, move, because I think that Aston Martin would be better off developing new talent and bringing someone else in, maybe another younger driver, maybe even like not this example, but maybe like even a Yuki Tsunoda if he like dropped from AlphaTauri, but someone in that sort of age bracket, as opposed to an Alonso who it's going to be a multi-year deal. Is he going to be like 50 by the time he's done with Formula One? I don't know.
I think he's trying to out Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. He's got to win 5 more championships.
There's a couple things there. Like, okay, so Lance has a super license, so technically speaking, he is qualified to drive a Formula One car.
Right.
He's done okay in some spots. He's shown some talent, but he's another one of these guys who really, would he be in F1 right now? Probably. Would he have been in F1 as soon as he was without his dad? Hell no.
No, I don't think so. I agree with that.
He's a textbook exam. I mean, this is the most extreme case of like pay to play, right? Usually, a wealthy person will pay for sponsorship or bring sponsorship or just flat out give money to a race team. And this happens all levels of racing, whether it be Formula One, endurance racing, all the way down. Like in major endurance racing, especially at Le Mans, is about to follow this to like in the rules. You need amateur drivers, especially in the GT ranks, and most times amateur drivers are people with money or people who bring a sponsor, etc.
Right.
So there's that side of it. Look, the kid's obviously following his dream, and I'm not really going to take anything away from it because, frankly, if I was following my dream and I got the hate he got, kind of suck.
Yeah.
And as AE says, it is Alonso is older than Seb. Like Alonso was kicking ass and taking names while like Seb was, I don't know, in grade school or whatever, or high school, whatever the German equivalent is.
Finishing school.
But this is where you and I differ. If you are a small F1 team, and Aston Martin is, first of all, Aston Martin should be diving headfirst into being that Merc Junior team that Force India used to be. Doesn't feel like they are. I feel like Lawrence is kind of pulling away from that. No, we want to be our own thing. I'm Canadian, blah, Maple Leafs, which I don't agree with. I mean, look, you're not going to get any sort of success. You're not going to bring in any sort of top talent, young talent, by being a team trying to go their own way poorly. I'm not to say he can't fix it, but the big point here is that you want a younger driver. And that's great. You want the talent, and that's assuming things being equal, right? It's almost like IndyCar, right? Where things are of a spec nature, where you could bring in a young driver, the development of the car is done, and you go from there. In Formula One, it's a bit different, and you're especially with year one of a car, and Alonso coming over from another vehicle, having different ideas, different methods of eking speed and stuff like that. I just don't think 2 young drivers is the way to go because they don't have experience they have race experience. Like, get in the car, go fast, pass everyone, don't suck. Like, that's their experience. And they have a ton of talent. And studies have shown that the younger you are, the faster your reaction, the faster you process information, especially these freaks, right? And then that's what they are. Like, they're absolute freaks with their reaction time, their ability, and all this other stuff. What they don't have experience in is developing a car. Sure, they can help set up a car, but developing a car, saying, Alonso has the experience of driving. He was V10, V8, V6 hybrid, and now this one. He's been in 4 generations of Formula One car and has that experience developing a car that Aston sorely needs. If they're going to be
True.
mid-pack relevant, they need a better car, and that's just it. Um,
I get
and
that, but
and
counterpoint to that, but wasn't that Seb the last 2.5 years?
it could have been, but who knows? Look at
So where are they then?
look at okay. Another argument could be made: has Seb really developed a successful car,
I mean,
or was it the?
no, but is Fernando going to do that in the next 2 years? I don't think so.
I'm not saying that Fernando's going to all of a sudden, the core of these cars is laid out. You're not going to be able to build a
Sure.
completely new chassis. I mean, you might, but the core of these cars are
Yeah.
already laid out. But I'll make the argument: as great as Seb was, he didn't get his first win at Red Bull. He got his first win at
Toro
Toro
Rosso.
Rosso, which
Yeah,
means the
I
junior
know.
team, which means the senior team. I forget if it was Coulthard and Weber or whoever. Those were the ones responsible for developing that car, and that was
Sure.
part and parcel of that. I don't want to go down necessarily that rabbit hole or what have you, but if Seb was supposed to be the development of the car development guy and didn't get it done, let's try it with another world champ, another guy who, I mean, look, I
Yeah.
mean, he has his ups and downs. Renault was the high point. From there, McLaren didn't really fan out. Ferrari was okay, and then he ended up at Alpine.
Right.
But it's just, you look at, it's the age-old adage, right? Do you want experience or do you want talent? Ideally, they be both, because that's ideal situation, right?
Sure.
But if you're not going to, the second seat is filled unless Lance Stroll just finds a magic genie in a bottle situation and just starts dominating
won't.
to the point where the big boys, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari,
Yeah.
all these teams are like, shit, we need to get this guy. He's going to be in that second seat until basically until he wants, or Formula One says goodbye. So
Yeah.
what do you fill the second seat with? Also, not for nothing, Alonso's another big name. If you replace Vettel with who would pick an F2 driver, they become less relevant. They just immediately become less. Look at how relevant Fernando Alonso is on a team that has zero shot at winning the championship, let alone a race. Like,
True. True.
But
You could also make that argument for Ocon, who is also, a very good driver in his own right, but he's also making Alpine relevant. He's basically even with Fernando on car, obviously, because it's the same team, and on points, and on I mean he was the benefactor of something very lucky last year, but he did win a race last year. So I mean he's
I'm not taking.
he's up there
I'm
as
not
well.
saying form. It's almost like what's the best way to describe it? It's almost like in any other sport. You bring in that aging star who maybe has 1-2 years left in the tank. However, your Q
Sure.
rating, your relevancy in the news feed that we currently live in goes up. And that's kind of what having a Vettel, what having an Alonso does versus having the up and coming. Remember, you
Right.
got to keep in mind that we have a crap ton of new Formula One fans, and there are
Oh,
names
yeah,
that have
that's true.
cachet. And what would be relevant about Aston Martin apart from it being Aston Martin without a big name? And I think that's part of it. Is it the right move?
True.
Time will tell. But I think that's part of this, especially when you're someone like a Lawrence Stroll who's like, look at me, I have an F1 team. Yeah, go away. Come back to us when
Yeah.
you're relevant.
Yeah, true.
But
True.
yeah, let's just get.
But it's
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, but it's interesting. Like, I know that there's a couple of comments in chat about it because it is like a very strange, But I guess there is some there's some logic behind it, sure, but it's just a weird kind of thing. So AE says, I agree with you. Alonso was a champion, was amazing with Renault at the time, but the car is also very important with the regulation and tires. He won't be able to drive as he used to be. Don't forget he's a bit older than Seb. Exactly. Mike says, I guess you could keep in mind that because they are lacking pace this year does not mean it will be the same next year, which is, to your point. I'm assuming they want to use Alonso's experience, again, to your point, to build a better car for the next year. keep in mind that Alonso is very racing data smart. I would say yes, but I mean, I would say that, Seb is along the same lines. Seb is also in the garage helping people to work on cars too. So, I don't think Alonso really trumps Seb in that category because Seb, let's be honest here. Seb is German, and in his retirement announcement, he was like, "I crave perfection." So I don't think that Alonso is really a step up from Seb in that regard. I think that Sebastian Vettel is on par with Fernando Alonso about like how the car is giving feedback, how the car is set up. Things dangling between the legs. That seems to be a big problem of Seb's. So, I think that I don't think that racing data is a big, level upgrade in that respect. I mean, maybe it is for more car development. I'm not sure, but I don't know. I just found it very strange. But here we are, and this is now the reality.
I mean, let's face it. Over the next I forget how long this Concord agreement goes for, but over, let's just say, next 5 years. I don't, again, the exact time frame. Whenever
the engine freeze,
the current car,
2026,
right? So 2026, right? Let's face it. It's going to be Ferrari, obviously Red Bull. Pretty sure Merc is on their way. Maybe a fourth. Maybe like a McLaren. Possibly. It could happen.
Yeah, I can see McLaren coming up.
So the rest of this stuff is just a fight for that mid-pack, which I get. It's Formula One. It's class racing in the same class of vehicle, right? I get that.
Sure.
But let's be real. I mean, you're not going to... It's not like Alonso is staying at Alpine or going to Aston Martin. Neither of them are not going to be routinely fighting for podiums. So it's really going to be about more the nostalgia with those guys. Seeing them race and stuff like that. That's why, like, I was kind of surprised that he even signed another deal for F1. That was multi-year.
Yeah, I agree.
Dude, go to sports. He could have done sports car in 24. He could have done IndyCar. He could have done all the stuff he wants to do. Like, he still wants to get that Triple Crown, and I think he's just Indy away from it. So, like, it is a little odd to stay in Formula One, considering he wants to do other stuff.
Yeah. I'd have loved to see him and Grosjean battle for a full season in IndyCar. That'd have been nice. Because Grosjean's doing very well in IndyCar.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
And yet it's...
Which is cool.
What is it? The V8 supercar dude who was on leading for a while? I don't know. I haven't really been following.
Yeah, I haven't been following really that much. I know Pato O'Ward is doing really well. I think he's the reigning champion or is in the lead for the championship. I'm not sure. But he was doing well. And then there was a rookie last year that I think either won it or did really well. Yeah. Either way, I would have loved to have seen another old F1 person. I like that IndyCar is becoming or has always sort of been the MLS of car racing, where you get these old European stars and then they come to the U.S., which is kind of cool.
All right, we got a basketball reference and a soccer reference from Greg today.
I'm expanding our horizons on the shifting lane street.
I could care.
So with all this said about Alonso and Seb, who do we think is going to fill the seat at Alpine? And I think right off the bat it's going to be Oscar Piastri, because it's a crying shame that kid does not have a seat this year after winning the F2 championship last year.
Thanks, Lance Stroll.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks, Lance Stroll. Pretty much is 100% accurate. Could have gone to Haas, but I love that they brought back Kevin Magnussen, because Kevin Magnussen is a very underrated and good F1 driver.
Yeah, well, it all depends on Renault's financial situation. If
True.
If they want to get who they want to get, they'll go that route. If they want to get a little something on the side, then they'll probably go for a more pay-to-play type driver. I don't follow F2 all that much. Is Hasta La Pasta tied to any team?
Oh, Oscar Piastri, he's tied to Alpine,
Oh,
and
well, then he's either gonna.
it was really surprising to a lot of people in preseason that Alonso didn't step aside and let him have the seat. But
Alonso doesn't have to.
That's what I was just gonna say. Alonso is still a better driver in Formula One than Oscar Piastri is. Let's be honest here. So
Yeah, that's likely what happens, unless like, I mean, I can't even see another name. Kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I think that he'll go to Alpine, I would imagine. I don't know. The rest of it's kind of up in the air. I don't see Alpha Tower bringing back Yuki Tsunoda.
I mean, that's the Red Bull tier though.
True.
Red Bull doesn't. If it's a young driver and it's not in the Red Bull tree, it's not like Red Bull's going to go out and be like, oh, that guy over there with McLaren or whoever. It's not like they're gonna. Red Bull has their tree. They're just going to up level guys, and it's almost with buckshot, right? Like this guy, nope. This guy, nope. This guy, nope. Oh, Vettel, great. This guy, oh, Ricardo. Oh, yeah. Oh, Max came along. Oh, Max a douche. Yeah, let's get rid of Ricardo. That seems like the smart move, and I've hated Red Bull ever since.
Yeah, that's
not the beverage.
Pretty accurate.
I wouldn't live
say.
without it.
I'd say that's pretty accurate. But you know that would be good. Mike says, I think Mick Schumacher would be great to see in that seat. I think that's a really interesting play. I would agree because Mick is definitely showing promise of being a good driver with a car that's, you know, not a flying brick, which is great. And I think he's definitely starting to get a hang for the Formula One kind of schedule as well as the cars themselves. So I think that's an interesting one from Mike. I agree. So yeah, I think that would be cool. I don't really see him moving up from Haas yet. I think he's got one more year on his deal.
Nope.
Oh no,
it's Magnussen and player to be named later. Probably me, if we're being honest. But...
okay, I had that
spoiler alert.
What's that?
That's probably me. Spoiler alert.
It's probably me. I don't know, but those F1 2022 streams, I don't really foresee that happening, dude.
Carbon fiber's cheap. They'll figure it out. Mike brings up a good point. He thinks Tsunoda is sticking with AlphaTauri to keep the Honda deal sweet. Yes, which is fantastic, but the Honda deal doesn't need to be anymore.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Porsche is going to have 50% of Red Bull. AlphaTauri is going to stay their own thing, but they're probably going to use a Porsche engine, which is, if gun to my head, is going to be an evolution of this Honda motor. It just the nature of the business. Jafar, what's up? Welcome back. What are we talking about? Well, we were talking about F1, but I think Greg had some comment from AE. Bringing the agent Sar, giving him a second seat. Red Bull did with Mark Webber. He had a lot in him to give, but they wanted Vettel to be fast, and it caused a lot of controversy. Yes, but that's Red Bull showed inexperience. I guess is kind of the. So what Red Bull likes to do is they like when they came into F1, they had their tree of drivers, or their ladder of drivers, I should say, and they kept promoting. And here's the benefit to using guys you promote. They're cheap. And as soon as a guy hit a certain price tag, they let him walk. Vettel.
Yep.
Similar thing with Webber, although Webber was kind of pushed out the door, but he also had the contract with Porsche to go race sports cars. So, you know, but Red Bull really, up until Perez, doesn't really hire from the outside because that's more expensive than bringing in the more expensive. Antoine, I always had the earbuds, the headphones. Only reason I like the cleaner look of the AirPods. I've had these headphones for a while. These are my gaming headset. See, I got the mic, but yeah. So it's
welcome back, Antoine. By the way,
absolutely
good to have you, and Jafar. Thank you guys both for joining. Appreciate it.
But Yeah, that's kind of the story of Formula One. Personally, Formula One exciting this year. Will be exciting next year. Next year is when
Yes.
sports car racing gets stupid interesting. And to be honest, we've been in a lull with the current generation of cars, especially on this side of the ocean, Atlantic. So next year with Porsche, gonna hurt my brain to think about this. So while I do that, Greg is going to tell you about our next talking topic of disco.
Talking points, things. We're talking to you. Hi, we're shifting lanes. Um, so our next thing is you have so a lot of people have some money lying around in their bank account, and they don't really know what to do with it. So I'm interested in hearing what you guys would do in chat of what car would you buy with around $15,000. Not saying either of us have that, but I just picked an arbitrary number that seems pretty attainable right now without going into the bananas crazy shit fest that is the entire market right now. Because, full transparency, we own a 2017 XC90, and our certified pre-owned warranty was up in February. My wife really loves the new Hyundai Palisade. It is nice looking. It's a more luxurious sort of entry level car, and it has a big warranty, which is a huge bonus. So we've been looking at like different prices of cars and stuff like that, and all of these are still way overpriced. And the average price of the new car, if you go look this up, is over $48,000, which is bananas. So what is a car enthusiast to do? Well, we always look for cheap, cool projects that may or may not break the bank. We don't know. We're masochists in that respect. So, what interesting sporty car could we potentially buy, us, we as in like a collective community, with our hard-earned dollars right now for around 15 grand? And I was like kicking this idea around in my head the last like couple of weeks, and I'm like, it's an interesting price point because 10 grand is cheap enough where it's like there's going to be a lot of shit boxes. 20 grand is getting into the range of like, well, it's expensive enough that I may need to get like a loan on it. But 15 is a number that a lot of people may have the money lying around as a down payment for a car they've been looking for. So I thought it was an interesting thing that we could talk about. What interesting, cool, sporty car could you buy for around 15 grand? And I sent Chad a bunch of links that I found on Auto Trader today, just like a smattering of different cars. And I have one or two in my brain that I didn't find on links, but could be really cool offerings as well. I think one of them is which one are you bringing up first? And you're muted.
And I did. This is just I did Googling.
Oh, you did Googling? I DM'd you a bunch of links.
Yeah, no, I have a bunch of those up. I was just seeing.
Oh, okay,
here.
cool.
Look at this.
Okay.
A manual Mercedes.
A manual C-Class. That's interesting.
Yeah, the C300 was you could get in a manual back. Like
interesting.
So
that is cool.
Could be
because I never really knew that they made C-Classes with manuals, even in that generation.
It was the last of the Mercedes manuals, which I always think makes it kind of cool.
That is kind of neat.
These are all like smattering of 6-cylinder pony cars.
Yeah,
Chrysler Crossfires are apparently a thing in that price range.
That's a lot of what I was sort of finding. So the first one there. So click that. So this is an interesting one because Corvette Z06s, as we all know, are fantastic performing cars, regardless of the generation they're in. C5, C6, C7, and now the new C8's coming out. Z06 was always the track-focused one. I never really personally liked the C5 Z06 because I really liked the fastback kind of hatch body style, whereas this was more of just the upright window. Didn't really like the looks of this car. However, that takes nothing away from it being a fantastic budget performance car because it just is. Like there's no question. It's one of the best performance bargains you can humanly buy. And for 15K with just over 100,000 miles, LS Motor parts are not that expensive. I mean, 15K for this thing seems like a pretty insane deal, gotta be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, LS6, 400 horsepower, manual box. Here's the dirty little secret. Everybody likes the C6 more than the C5. Same car, pretty much underneath. Pretty
Yeah,
much
oh, totally.
identical car underneath.
Yeah,
So
underpinnings are all the same. C6 is
So
basically
this-
just like they say it's a new generation. It's a refresh. It really was.
you know, there was some other things like the Z difference between this and a C6Z was, you know, just the engine cradle, obviously the LS7, you know, all that.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to get in something, get the 500 horsepower and have a blast doing it, it's really hard to beat one of these. They make so many parts for them. They're pretty easy.
Yep.
LS's, all the issues are known, etc. So like, definitely, if performance and fun is your primary target, and you're willing, like I'm with you. I'm not too I was never really crazy about the C5s in general.
Yeah.
But there's no better bang for buck performance wise with one of these.
Yeah.
You know.
My dad had a C5. He had a 97. It's pretty basic. It still had a tape player in it. You know, it was not a very highly optioned car, but man, I'll tell you what, every time we got in it, it felt like a cheap interior because, you know,
Wow.
GM 2000s, but you know, whatever, you dealt with it because when you put your foot down, you forgot about everything that was inside. That's for sure. It sounded great. It felt cool. People were looking at the car like, man, that's such a cool car. I got driven to the 8th grade dance in that car. Man, I felt like $1 million. It was awesome. So
I remember it constantly being in your garage and never actually seeing it move.
I mean, pretty much. My dad decided to like never drive his sports cars, unfortunately, which is I think part of the reason why I will always drive my sports cars. Can't stand seeing them sit. We got some good comments and really good suggestions here. 5 to 10-year-old BMW 5 Series, also a cool one because I think that was also one of the last 5 Series with a manual box. Can you still get a 5 Series with a manual? I don't really know.
Probably not. I don't think so.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go look it up. But you might
the last gen you could. I don't know about the current gen.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Is this Hanson's old car?
Mike has a question. Are we talking like
car?
What's that?
Is this like actually Hanson's old car?
No, it's not. It really looks like it. Mike has a question. Are we talking for the racetrack or daily or both?
Racetrack is life, bro.
It depends on each person's use case, honestly. Like if you have $15,000 lying around and you want to buy an interesting car with it, whether it be your daily or your secondary car to just have a cool car lying around, or doing a track car, you know, what are your options? I want to hear all of them. But it has to be an interesting car. It can't just be like a Taurus. It would have to be like a Taurus SHO, because that's an interesting car because it's like a performance version of, you know, the boring, you know, sedan. It couldn't be like a BMW 328. It would need to be the 335 with the twin turbo or the twin scroll turbos. Like that's a cooler car, and you can find them, which is one of the links that Chad had just brought. 2011 8th gen Civic SIs, great cars and a good shout. Jafar says 2007 AMG E63, also a great car, but also terribly unreliable outside of the engine. Everything else just failed on those cars miserably. And Jafar has another one, 1996 Roadmaster with the LT1. You can get that for less than $15,000, and yes, you can, because I'm in 2 wagon groups. Wagon Mafia and Wagon Elitist Jerks, which is just the best name for a group ever.
So you.
And there are, I love wagons, what can I say? And there are several Roadmasters in those groups that they look so cool. They have the LT1 engines in them, and people just go nuts because no one knows that like those old Buicks had this like crazy sick V8 in it, and there's like so many sleepers in that group. It's just fantastic. I love seeing them. They're just super cool.
You and your wagons.
So wait, which link did you have open there? That was that BMW 335 Xi that I sent you, right?
Yeah.
Clearly enthused about this BMW. Chad is yawning.
I'm over
So
BMW. I hate the brand
this is
forever.
yeah. These are cool cars because you can find these manual with with twin turbo for 15 grand. And look, you buy an old BMW, you know you're probably going to have problems. It's the same thing with old, European anything, old Audi, old German, old Merc, even Scandinavian stuff, like old Volvos. They say old Volvos never die. Well, I am testament that old Volvos have problems, and trust me, old cars have problems. So this is actually a really nicely optioned car. I think this is an automatic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's an automatic, but even so, like the spec on this car is utterly fantastic, and you can find these maybe not as nice a spec, but you can find these manual, for less than 15K, which I think is pretty cool. And they came with over 300 horsepower. You can tune these easily. They have a massive aftermarket, so you get a really good amount of support and a really good platform. The E9X platform from BMW was a fantastic platform and one of the best driving BMW platforms ever. So another cool option for around 15K.
Yeah, I mean, these are eminently tunable. 500 horsepower is really not out of the question. Like I said before, Hansen actually owned one of these.
Yes.
I think the several hundred or several thousand miles after the warranty ended was when the turbos decided to give up. So, you know, let's just be real. If you buy a BMW and there's no more, I was trying to see, you didn't that peach or that cream colored Mercedes wagon isn't for sale, Gregson.
Oh yeah, no.
Anytime you
I would
buy
be
a
more interested in
BMW
that.
with over 100,000 miles, no warranty left, you're asking for trouble. Now, I will say,
Yeah.
I don't want to say the common BMWs, but the not M's, with sort of the more robust sort of family style of engines, as opposed to make this made like roughly 320 horsepower, 3 liters twin turbo. The S54 in the previous generation E46 M3 made this same horsepower from 200 more cc's without turbos, like high strung motor. Probably a little too advanced for its day, which is why it kind of shits the bed very, very frequently. But even this, Hansen's, he had to replace the turbos, I think, on his, because they went at like right around 100,000 miles.
Yep. And he had a warranty for that, I think, because he bought it CPO.
Right, which is a case for those extended warranties.
Yeah.
Look, like everything you said, great handling vehicle. These, for a long time, were being tuned to high hell more than the M cars, because you could get these for less, and then you could throw all that extra money into making it a monster.
Yep.
I think this is the B58 or something like that, if memory serves.
B58's the new one. I think this is the
Gotcha.
S55 or S58 or B55. One of those, I think, designations. I forget which.
So, like, this one has 80,000 miles.
Yep.
You know, and all-wheel drive. So, you know, if you're that type of person, financing, yay. Look, if you're planning something, you know, you want a car, like, I think B is for Bill did one of these to over 500 just on with bolt-ons. So, like, I don't know, BMW, they're great cars when they work. Nothing's like them. But
right, but an interesting car for 15K.
Interesting, yes. I think Mike actually has more interesting cars. The Mazda Speed 3, and specifically the Mazda Speed 6, the old Mazda Speed 6. I was actually
excellent sleeper.
I was actually looking at these not too long ago, as something. Open image. There we go. As something to, I was looking at something not necessarily like this because this appears to be on radials, but they're all-wheel drive. They make good power, great aftermarket for it, and they're all-wheel drive. So I was thinking, as far as a winter beater is concerned, like, not that I'd beat the shit out of it, but like a winter car
Not
with
bad.
all-wheel drive, get one of these. Like, I mean, I do have my heart set on a truck, but this piqued my interest for a while, and you can get these for pretty reasonable. I mean, they are going back up in value because everything of interest is, especially ones that weren't crazy. They made a lot of them.
Right.
So like,
It's a good shout. They're cool cars.
no, absolutely.
And they are good
Of
sleepers
the
because
three
they
cars,
made decent
of
power.
the 3 cars we've looked at so far, or mentioned, or what have you, the Mazda Speed 6 is the one I would, we were to tomorrow do a 15K challenge. God, I hope we get there someday. Meanwhile, Tavares, Ed Bolian, and what's his face are doing gas guzzlers for the price of a new Tesla.
Just keep grinding.
Greg, Christian's been trying to reach you about your extended warranty. So,
Oh yes, I saw that. I'm ignoring him as I do all the others.
Jafar, now I understand why he's such a big fan. He loves wagons. First love was a 240. Greg owns a 240, in case you were wondering. We think.
Yeah, let's just not talk about that.
Same thing, trying to find shop time for the Mustang. In any rate,
Yeah.
Antoine. So I haven't been around for a few weeks. I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed. Have you guys been talking about the F-150 Raptor R, the Civic Type R? Yes and yes. The Raptor.
Go watch the last 2 streams.
Yes. Or if you're lazy, the Raptor R video will be going on Shifting Lanes 2 tomorrow, and the Type R will be next week sometime. I have to figure out when we're going to get that edited. Jafar says, don't forget the greatest Panther. Greg?
I'm not sure what that means.
Are we talking like Sex Panther? Because it works 60% of the time, every time.
Are you talking about the Panther platform and the Crown Vics? Because those are interesting.
Yes, and Marauders are crazy expensive right now. Like, you can't. They're like $20K.
Yes.
Oh, because like,
yes.
We have a member at the golf course who loves those cars, and I was thinking, all right, they can't be that expensive. Let's see what a Marauder is worth. Okay, it's too expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. Mike, 99 stars sent. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. That will help us buy $1 worth of gas.
Hey, all the same, because the Mustang uses that just starting up.
Yeah. Each star sent is like a penny. So you guys can send, I think the minimum is like 10 or something, or 99 cents or whatever. But
every little bit helps, guys. It helps us.
We
like
literally
we keep
take
saying,
all this and throw it in the bank and save it for car stuff. So we appreciate it.
One thing before we move on, because we have some of our diehards with us right now.
Yes.
Guys, we're going to be trying to get new merch for the new holiday season. So send us ideas. We have a lot of cool stuff there now, but we want to kind of freshen it up, get something new. Send us ideas, and if it's not a copyright infringement, we might do it.
And everyone on stream we'll give you guys stuff at cost. Like, you guys don't have to like spend $30 for a T-shirt. We'll give you discount codes that it's like basically like, we're not making any money, so you guys get like a T-shirt if you want to help support us by like, just at least being walking billboards. So that'll help too for sure.
Greg, I need to see you in my office after the stream, please.
Discount code is Chad sucks.
Discount code is help Greg find a new job. No, I'm
Please,
kidding.
yes, that actually would be very beneficial to this stream.
Christian asks, have we touched on the Miata? Go away.
Actually, it's
obvious
always
answer.
the answer.
It's not always
the answer.
Although, one of the things that I wish had come to fruition that I don't think has yet is a NA Miata. So the first generation Miata. We all know people love to swap engines into them. So you have you have companies like K-Swap, where they put a K motor in a Miata and makes it just epic, right? And then there's this Miata Busa.
Oh my God, is that the double Hayabusa engine in a Miata?
No, it's a one Hayabusa engine in a Miata, but it's as far as projects go, finding a platform suitable for a Hayabusa engine, which you can get to close to 300 horsepower without turbos, 400 horsepower but imagine 400 horsepower, a red line that approaches, I think, 14,000 RPM, and in a Miata with the sound of what a Hayabusa engine sounds like, man. Like, come on, like that is the answer. That is the answer, right down.
That is pretty bananas. I got to be honest. I would do that. I would do that.
That'd actually be a cool build. That'd be a cool build off, actually, if we could afford, like, down the road. We each get, you, me, and Hanson, get NA Miatas, but we cannot keep a Mazda powertrain in there. So we each have to go our own route, and like this.
Well, I know what I'd do.
You probably T5 swap it.
Yup, 100%. I mean, is there any doubt? Literally 300 horsepower turbo R motor with a T5 what's the I think it's a T5 Borg Warner manual transmission attached to it. I mean, send it. Let's do it. I'm in. It'll be sick.
Or, and I think Chad will like this idea better, a T5 white block in an MR2.
That would be awesome. I'm in for that as well. That would be super cool. Also, in answer to our question, Jafar was not talking about the Mercury Marauder or Panther platform. He was talking about Odin Sex Panther from Anchorman. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Jafar, we're on the same page. You should.
Yeah,
you
that's
should
awesome.
Be afraid. Christian wants to LS swap the world. Okay,
Mike,
so
STI swap for a Miata is pretty good because
they make that. They do that.
Yeah, they
There's
do.
a kit for it.
They make it. They have a kit for it. They're small. They're smallish engines. They have low center of gravity, and in a car that small, that's a really good shout because you can. I mean, everyone knows STI and WRX motors. Like they can make power pretty easily. You just chuck like some more boost at them, and
Head
they're
gaskets
fine.
are disposable.
I mean, if you can get a closed deck, which is not crazy expensive in the Subaru community, I'd put it in a Miata. That's pretty reliable, and you will have one of the coolest cars, I think.
Not to backtrack, but John in the chat answered the original question: who's his favorite F1 driver? And that would be Senna.
Yes.
Actually, didn't realize you went back that far, John. Good for you, man. To those of you who don't know John is one of my good buddies, and John is going to be my co-pilot when we eventually get down to doing you can do two-player co-op career modes. So we're competing in the same season career-wise on F122. So John's going to be the co-pilot for that. So
nice.
Definitely stay tuned for that. We're giving Mike ideas. He has an NA Miata and a 600 horsepower STI engine sitting in storage.
I mean,
buy a GC8, put it in a GC8. Don't put it in a Miata.
I mean, GC8. Are we giving you ideas, or are you just telling us what you have and what you want to do? Because that is exactly what it sounds like, and you should definitely do it. I'd say put it in a Miata, just because if you have the car, why not? You know, if you had a GC8 lying around, cool. But it's gonna take a lot to bring a GC8 up to what you need to put a 600 horsepower STI engine in it. Good luck finding one with no rust. Good luck finding one that's cheap enough. It's a lot. They're getting harder and harder to find and getting more and more expensive. Yeah, I'm with Christian. I'm with you. Put it in the Miata.
Mike,
the GC8 for this one.
Mike.
I say Mike, put it in the Miata and send it.
Mike, look at me. No. Mike, the a GCA chassis is like $5,000. Just thank me later.
I need another beer. Hang on.
But at any rate, that would be a really cool car. But you know, GC8's cooler than Miata. I don't want to spend your money, but I do. So make it happen. Let's see here. All right. We got another comment from Anton. We read two big stories. GM is going to void warranties if anyone tries to flip the C8 Corvette Z06. I didn't hear that, but I did hear they're putting a $5,000 incentive for those who don't sell it. So there's that. I haven't heard about the Hummer and so on. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, Ford did something similar with the GT. It makes sense because these car dealers are sick of having to price a car at a certain point and then seeing it double in the aftermarket. So I totally get it. And Carbuzz came out with an article that Corvette is coming out with a Corvette sedan either in 2025 as a model year. I don't know how a Corvette sedan works. Maybe a Camaro? I think I saw the Camaro, actually, now that I think about it. Did you say Camaro? No. Camaro sedan. I mean, look, Dodge did it with the Charger. Ford has kicked around the idea with the Mustang. Makes sense. They're probably going to have a electric sedan platform that they can put it on. I'm assuming the next Camaro is going to be electric. Hopefully not, but whatever.
So, point of clarification on the comment from Antoine. The warranty voiding part of that. If someone buys a Z06 and then they sell it, the person that is buying it from that flipper would get their warranty voided. That was what the whole potential would be. And GM giving a $5,000 incentive to people to not flip their Z06s is hilarious because they can easily make 40 to 50 grand on the flip. So that ain't gonna do anything. Gotta be honest. That will do nothing.
Greg, you got some orders at the Mate Bar and Grill.
Yeah, I can tell.
Booze and Builds are tuned in at a perfect time. Always good time. Thanks, Keith. Jafar wants a beer. Go. And Christian said right, Ford did it with the Mustang EV. That's not a Mustang. It just isn't.
It is. They called it a Mustang.
Who cares?
And semantics.
They called you a Gregson.
So for anyone interested that does like beer, this is what I've been drinking already. Conehead India Pale Ale. It is delicious. It's my new favorite IPA. It is 5.7%, and it's only, there's it on here somewhere. I think it's only like 49 IBUs, so it's really mellow.
What the hell is an
very
IBU?
Good. It's from it's like how bitey it is. Like if it's if you have an IPA and you feel like you're chewing on a big hop, that's like 100 IBUs. If it's like a lower, it's like more mellow. You know, it's not like as crazy. It's like International Brewing Unit or something like that. I forget what it is.
International
but either way,
Brewing Unit.
Oh. I don't know. I'm beverage. I honestly don't know. I just made that up. It might be right. I'm not sure. But this is my new favorite IPA. It's very good.
IPAs in general are terrible.
I love IPAs, honestly. I think they have just a good flavor. They're good for like just sipping beers. Like if I don't want to like just get drunk, like I just like have
Beer's
a couple of these.
Good for that anyway. At our age, man,
But this is Zero Gravity Brewing. So if you guys are interested, I'm gonna go grab a different one and I'll be back because I didn't that last time. Chad, entertain everyone.
Alrighty, now that Greg's gone, let's be real, Chad. Let's see here. Jafar, you're right. That's not a Mustang. Thank you. Antoine, S2000 with the S197 generation GT500 V8. Very interesting. I would. Here's the thing, though. I love the S2K. I love what it represents. I would have it over Miata 10 out of 10 times. I think most of us would. But I've actually, and this is going to sound weird since I'm a Mustang guy, and that motor is awesome, especially when you consider what Cletus did with it and the Crown Vic. But I'm getting into the Ks more and more because built those Ks make a crap ton of power NA, and I love the idea of small engine, small displacement, 350 plus horsepower. That's crazy to me. But anything with a supercharged V8 in it is instantly better. Just anything at all.
Accurate, super accurate.
Christian goes, you don't buy IPAs for the taste, you buy them for the cans. You're 100% correct, good sir.
Yep, they're all awesome. They're all awesome. So. They are all awesome.
Oh, I didn't. I don't.
Jafar sending 1,000 stars. Thank you as always. And once again, Jafar is now tops over Chad Kennedy in the stars
leaderboard.
In the stars leaderboard. So thank you, Jafar. You are a legend as always. Appreciate the support. And you guys, I know there's not a ton on, but all of this does get socked away. So thank you so much for all the support. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Hopefully someday we can get enough stars to buy a car. I think that'd be really cool.
I think honestly that would be a really cool idea. If one day we could get to a point where we can just stockpile this stuff, buy a car, and then chat modifies it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Right?
That I think is really cool. If we because it's like a crowdsourced car. And then
they get it, and then
that's really neat.
at the end of the build, we do something crazy with it, like I don't know, road trip to Florida, go see some of our YouTube buddies.
Give it away,
and then after that, giveaway car. Bought one.
I think that'd be cool. Tell your friends.
Jafar 2007 Infiniti G35 with a manual.
Good shout.
To this day, out of any car I have ever driven, that thing was the easiest to drive sideways.
Yeah, they have great balance because it's a 370Z
with a little more length.
370Z makes a great drift car.
But a funny story is that a friend of ours and Greg's college roommate bought one of those new, and he's like, I had basically been on a bimanual. Like,
yeah, you were literally the reason he bought a manual because you were on his ass about it.
So eventually, once the car was broken in, because he babied the hell out of it and all this other stuff, eventually when the car was broken in, he's like, all right, just take it for a drive and show me what all this manual goodness is all about. Like, why? I don't get it. So we're driving around, having a good time, doing some rev matching, all this other stuff. And he's like, yeah, but what can you really do with a manual that you can't do? I go, this is going to require me not to be gentle on your car. I'm warning you because you're a friend. But if you want me to go and show you, just know I'm not actually trying to break it or something like that. So he goes, yeah, dude, I want to see that. So I literally 20 miles an hour, clutch kick it, ascent, and as I'm looking out the passenger side window, I just see him like this.
Just like grabbing on clenched.
Yeah, like a toddler clinging to its mother. And we go back and we kind of come back around and everything, and comes back in and he goes, that was exceptionally awesome, get out.
as he should. Oh man, that's funny. Oh, Antoine, not to go 3 conversations back, but doesn't Hanson get paid the most out of all of you? No, we actually split this 3 ways is the way Shifting Lanes works. So we've all built this. We split it 3 ways. We still do. We're trying to build like this stream and the side. I guess it's not a side, but like the second YouTube channel. So Shifting Lanes 2, where we do these stream highlights and then vlogs and stuff. So that hopefully we can have 2 channels that produce the same amount of income, where OEM car reviews and doing vlogs and streams and stuff like that is the same. So that's the whole idea. Have 3 people on one YouTube channel. Why not try to diversify and give different offerings? So Chad and I have been doing the streams. We're doing reels on both Instagram and Facebook. There's been like a couple of like bonuses that I think Instagram and Facebook have tossed out. We've opted into the Instagram one to like do more reels because they're really pushing that to try to like negate TikTok. It's this whole thing. So there's like different like strategies we're trying to use, and we all just kind of split it 3 ways because we all put in a lot of effort on every kind of angle.
Yeah, effectively, there's three of us. And the way YouTube and all that other stuff likes to work is if we were to try to cram everything into one channel, the channel would suffer. So that's why we're trying to diversify. That's why we're trying multiple channels. That's why we have Shifting Lanes 2, and Shifting Lanes Live. So if you guys are ever in a spot without Facebook, you can just bring us up on YouTube and watch the stream. All of our VODs are there, or most of our VODs are there, I should say. I had some tech issues with YouTube for a minute. Thankfully, we got those sorted. You know, it's just we're trying to build a business out of our passion. You know, none of us are really, you know, about to say arrivederci to our day jobs, but you know, we want to do this as smart as possible. You know, and in the dream that one day, you know, you're gonna get, you know, my dream personally is to get Shifting Lanes to such a point that we're doing the car trek level stuff. You know, where we go on an adventure. You know, where we get to grab a car and go and all this stuff. Like that's my dream for Shifting Lanes, and you know, I think the guys share that in certain respects. You know, without Shifting Lanes, I don't have a Mustang, I don't have a Volvo, I don't have an E46 M3, so 2 out of 3 ain't bad. You know, it's up to down to like you guys and our loyal viewers and the guys who, you know, reach out to us on, you know, daily basis and say, hey, I got this car, what do you think? Or hey, I just got a Volvo C30, what do you think I should do mod wise? Like that's the coolest part of this. That's why we started the live stream, because like I want guys who to come in here who have a C30 and say, hey, I'm looking to do this, what do you think? And go through and talk, and then 2 weeks later see how the build's going along. Like that's the stuff that's really awesome. I would love at some point to do like a rate my ride type of a thing here, where viewers send us their cars with the spec list and what they did, and some video and some and stuff, to where we could make a good, decent enough production out of it. Because that's what I love about cars. Like, okay, so is the new pick a car a cool car, right?
Right.
Yes, it is, but for me, it's always been about how is it mine? How is my Mustang different from all the other Mustangs out there? How is my Mustang, you know, how did I get X performance out of it for half the price? Like, that's the stuff that kind of gets me going. So I love the comment from Jafar that's, you know, with the G35, which has been sold, but you need a catch can for oil, but, you know, that he loves the car. Absolutely. Right, case in point, any sort of big displacement or big piston-sized engines that are turning a lot of revs, you're more likely going to need a catch can. That's one of the mods to the Mustang, because let's face it, at its displacement, at 7,500 RPMs, it's moving a lot. So it's I have a catch can. I have so many stuff for that. Like literally the only thing I don't need to order, I still need to order, is the thermostat and the transmission, but I can't get the transmission until it goes into the shop, which I texted Jeff again today and not so much.
Yeah, I hear you. So to kind of close the loop on the 15K cars, just bring up the other couple that I talked about, because one of them was sort of a G35, one of them was actually a 370Z. But again, like, I think 15K is like such a interesting kind of car.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing about this car, right? Or the car that's underneath Greg.
Yeah.
It's effectively a 400 or the new Z, just with a different engine.
Totally. 100%.
For 15K.
Different engine. So think of it. You made a great point earlier about the C5 and C6 Corvettes. Think about the new Z as the C6 Corvette to the 370Z. Same underpinnings, refreshed interior, newish engine.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a particularly horrific color, but
well, I mean, you know, whatever. What is it, like dark gray?
No, it's some form of blurple.
Well, either way, manual transmission.
Mm-hmm. I mean, say what you will about the VQ. The VQ sounds like ass, unless You get equal length long tube headers, and then it sounds like a miniature V12.
Yeah.
It screams. You need to get more resonators than you would say. Look, orange is just superior to purple, Christian. It just is. And not for nothing, none of my cars are orange. None of them. So, I mean, Greg's just partial to this because it looks like fucking magic blue.
Yep. Yep.
Up. Car Doers hates me. Or Auto Trader. Who uses Auto Trader? You're sending me Auto Trader links?
Well, the reason I did Auto Trader is because it has more sorting options. Car Gurus, you can't do the sorting the same way as Auto Trader.
Huh. Interesting. I will continue not using them.
Yeah, I don't really use it unless I'm doing one of the searches like this, because then you can choose like multiple body styles with a price point, and it's just easier. So this was one, and then what were the other two? I think I sent you.
We had a
two
Genesis.
More. Yeah, Genesis, the V8 Genesis, which is an interesting car.
V6.
So. Is this a 6?
Yeah, they're never made it in this body style. This body style was offered in a 2-liter turbo and a 3.8-liter 6. I know this because I actually put a deposit down on the 3.8.
That's right. I do remember that now.
And then a refundable deposit that I still haven't gotten back, by the way.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. I will not name the dealership, but they lost a lot of business because of it. But
yeah,
it was a big deal.
But an interesting car for, again, at this price point.
Yes.
And then the last one was a Mustang.
Is this an actual bullet?
I think, yeah, because it has like 146,000 miles on it or something.
I mean, there's the shift knob.
Yeah, so I believe it is. And the reason I chose it is because you can find specialty Mustangs with high mileage for cheap, which is cool. But another one to consider, along with this Mustang and like all the other ones, is a C4 Corvette that does not get a lot of love, but you can find really good C4 Corvette examples for around $15,000. And you can find they made a ZR1 in C4, and I still think they're around 25 grand, which is insane.
I don't know about that.
Last time I looked, and it was like last year, so I don't know if they've gone crazy, but there were some that were $25,000 in C4. If not, maybe it was 35. Either way, but C4 is a platform that, huge aftermarket. Again, LS motors. You can pretty much swap any LS into it.
No, Malaise era small blocks.
What, the late model C4s had LSs?
They're the predecessor to the LS, but not an actual. They didn't have like an LS1 or an. The C5.
I thought they did. I thought 95 plus C4s did.
I'm pretty sure the C5 was the first LS.
Oh.
The LS debuted with the C5. Let me put it that way.
Interesting.
Let's see here.
Either way, it's a cheap Chevy motor, which again, huge aftermarket, lots of parts. That's the whole point. LS or not, whatever.
I mean, and the dashboard and the thing, you could do so much coke off of this car. It's not even funny. Not that I'm advocating that at all, kids.
No, definitely not.
Stay in school, Australian kid who watches us from math class.
Oh yes, I forgot. Haven't seen him around in a while.
Okay, so 20. Okay, never mind. 42. Because these are actually becoming that like Corvette that everybody hated, but now that they figured out why like it had the issues it did.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, Mike. C4 had LT1, not the LS1, the LT1. And then the LS came in the C5s. That's right. And Mike also said, I guess for all that, the 4th gen Camaros and Firebirds would also fall under this category, and Firebirds are going up in price. Yeah, they are.
The Firebird WS6 specifically.
Yes. Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine.
Basically, just like a different bodied Corvette.
Yeah, I mean LS1 350, 350, like it was.
Yep.
Those were cool. Those were really cool. They were way cooler than the cheese wedge Camaros.
Yep, 100%.
Which it's funny. Those, I think. What is it? I can't remember. One of Cletus's old buddies used to be on all his videos. Now has his own. Cooper has a 2J in one of those, which I thought was cool.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a cool swap. That's a cool swap.
Yeah.
I dig that.
I think that's really cool because it's not a beloved Camaro. The SSs were cool and stuff. My buddy of mine had the V6, put an exhaust. It sounds like a V8. It doesn't. Move on.
No, it's not. Someone made a comment either on stream or in one of our videos the other day that said the V6 Mustang with a tune is as fast as a V8 Mustang. And I'm just like, you are smoking so much reefer.
I remember seeing that comment and typing out a reply and being like, nah. Because like
so not accurate in the slightest. You have to have to make a V6 even get to like the base V8. You need at least 3 or 4 bolt-ons in a tune, at least.
I don't know about that. Like that V6 has no compression. That V6 is only making 230-ish horsepower. It needs to make 200 more horsepower. Like
it's a lot.
That needs a lot. Like bolt-ons might get you to 3, which might get you to the EcoBoost, which but not a V8. I mean the Coyote's special for a reason, and that's why. Mike, of course, has a 2000 WS6 because what doesn't Mike have?
Mike, we need to be friends. It sounds like you have a fairly outstanding garage.
Mike, your proximity to the Northeast United States. Just asking for a friend. 04
We're also taking Shipping Lane's donated cars. 2000 WS6 sounds like a great one.
I mean, yeah, I'll take that instead of stars.
Yes, cars instead of stars. New tagline.
GTOs are another good one. From Pontiac. The weird thing is those GTOs, I always had like a soft spot for them. Because they were never, they were never great. Or they were actually, they were kind of cool cars. They were great cars for what they are. But they, I love the idea of like, we finally got a car that we couldn't have. Like you heard the Holdens and all that over in Australia, and they were like, yeah, let's just, okay, here's an LS, here's this, blah, blah. Enjoy, you under.
Yep.
And I love the fact that it came over here, and then it was followed by the Commodore sedan, which was the GXP, or not the GXP, whatever it was, and then the SS. And people never really understood it. There wasn't enough options like the Charger had, because basically that's what it competed against, was the Charger. It didn't have as many options, and people kind of strayed away, and then it died. G8, that's what I was thinking of. And I believe the G8 was only an automatic though. But in any rate, it was a cool car. LS3, 430 horsepower, comfortable because it was big and heavy, but it was still quick. Families need to start thinking like they did 20 years ago. Like, it's big, it's got a V8, let's go. I know it's going to be big, it's got an electric motor, let's go. I get it. But sedans in general just need to make a comeback. It's because
enough of this whole crossover thing.
Boo crossovers. What else? I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's like 9 million different WRXs you can get for that price point.
I mean, pretty much anything pre-2010 you could find for about 15K. But with that whole platform, you just don't know what you're gonna get, because
listen,
WRX, the same thing with the Civics. You just don't know who's done what to it and how abused it's been, because they're cheap. But you could
say that about almost any enthusiast car of a certain price point. Like, once a car hits a certain price point, like,
that's true.
The S197 Mustangs, for example. You go back far enough, and they were got cheap enough, and people did whatever they wanted to it.
Yeah, that's true.
So any of those, I mean, I get that Subaru was priced accordingly, but even so, like, what does a WRX go for starting price wise?
Right now, I don't know anymore. I would say low 30s. Back when I bought mine, you could get one for 26, 27.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
about half.
Antoine has a question.
Half the cost.
God, I miss these. If Pontiac was still around, would you say it would have been far better? It would have been a far better Camaro if the Camaro didn't exist for the 5th and 6th gen. I think it would. It has better visibility in the 5th and 6th gen Camaros. I think they played the numbers game. Camaro, more people are Chevy than Pontiac, even though those cars shared a platform. I mean, personally, I always like Firebirds better than their Camaro counterpart. All you have to do is look at the old 70s Camaros and compare them to the Fire Chicken from Smokey and the Bandit. And then all the way through, like, the 80s Firebirds always had a little bit cooler look to them, and all the way through.
Yeah.
9th gen Lancer Evos, specifically the Evo MR, not a chance in heck it's going to meet the budget, but still an awesome car.
Yeah,
Hansen
great car. There's no way you're getting one of those for 15K unless it has like 300,000 miles on it.
And yeah, because the problem is that everybody wants to think Evo versus STI, Evo STI. Subaru won because they made and sold a fuck ton more than Mitsubishi did.
Yeah, accurate.
I always liked. I went back and forth. Evos were always cool. In like the GC8 Hawkeye era Subarus, I liked. And then the Blob Eye, and then that whatever came after the Hawkeye, what the hell is it? It just looked boring. Then I went back to Evos and stuff, but
the one after the Hawkeye?
Yeah, the one that was sort of blandish.
That was my generation, but it started in 08.
What was the split 3? The one that had the grill that split into 3. Wasn't that the Hawkeye? And then the one after that was the like
3?
Yeah. No, I got it.
I don't remember. So right after the Hawkeye was my generation, was the GRs, and they started in 08. But they were hatch only, or no, they weren't hatch only. Sorry, the STIs were hatch only to begin with, and then they made sedan STIs.
So
after like a year or two.
This is the one I like. I thought this was the Hawkeye.
So that's a Hawkeye generation.
Right.
Still a Hawkeye.
Right.
Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah, that's the Blob Eye.
And then the Frog Eye was the one with the. Got it. I figured it out. Thanks, chat.
Oh, are you talking about the big circle ones?
Yeah, that was the Frog Eye, wasn't it?
Bug Eye.
Bug Eye.
Because it looked like
Bug Eyes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the GC8 and the Hawkeye, were my favorite.
Yeah.
This in wagon form,
Hawkeye, I think
is
one of the better ones.
This in wagon form looks epic. And
yeah, agreed. These are fantastic in wagon form.
For our wagon lovers out there.
Yes. Speaking of wagons, the last point I'm going to make on that 15K thing, an interesting one is a mid 90s Volvo 850R wagon, because the sedan, you could do a sedan or a wagon. Both of them were awesome. They were front wheel drive, which is a bit of a detriment. However, this is the car that the 850, the 855, this is the one they took racing in British touring cars. So pretty cool that you could get, a Volvo wagon that they took racing. And yeah, there you go. That's the 855R right there. Like, it's the last of the real boxy kind of Volvo wagons, before they went very rounded with their stuff. This is the 850 wagon, the famous one that they took racing in British touring cars. It was actually competitive. It didn't win any races, but they would consistently get third, fourth, fifth places. So they weren't just at the back of the pack. They were a wagon competing in British touring cars, up near the front of the pack, which is pretty cool. And this is the original performance Volvo. This was the beginning of the R line. There's
No, you're forgetting about the Amazon R.
I wish there was an Amazon R. That'd be sick. So it really started with the Volvo 850 T5R. That's where the R badge really kind of came in, and that was the real first like performance modern Volvo. They had like the 850 high output before that. They had the 240 intercooler or the 240 turbo before that, which were more performance Volvos. But this is an interesting car because it's cool. You can get a manual. They have really nice interiors, actually. They have like an Alcantara insert.
Featured on top here.
Yep, featured on top here.
As was the Subaru
the
wagon.
Very similar to what my Polestar has. It's like an Alcantara insert with a leather outside. Yeah, it's just a cool car because it's an old boxy Volvo wagon that you can get. That's a performance variant, and they're just neat. I like them. I would love to buy one. I'm in the market for one. I would love to get one and do a nice build on the YouTube channel of it because I think they're neat. Plus, they have a 5-cylinder engine, and 5-cylinder engines, as we all know, sound utterly epic with the right exhaust setup. So
Hellcat swap.
could be cool. What's that?
Hellcat swap.
Hellcat. Yeah, that engine bay is big enough. You could probably fit one in there. But yeah, I think that rounds out my list.
All right,
of 15K cars. You can find a nice example of those for 15K.
Yes. Real quick, Greg. YouTube comment. How can you easily tell if you have a bad or going bad PCV valve in a P2? Would it cause you to lose MPG and burns a quart of oil every 2,500 miles by chance?
Well. Good news, we have a video for you. All you got to do is take a nitrile? I don't never know how to pronounce it. Take a glove, take off your oil cap, put it on the oil reservoir where you just took the cap off of. Put a rubber band around the glove. Turn your car on. If it sucks the glove in, not literally into the engine, because it shouldn't do that, but if it sucks in, your PCV system is good. If your glove inflates like a cartoon character, your PCV system is bad and clogged, and you need to do a full refresh of it. That's it. Super easy. It's one of the easier kind of things I've ever heard of in the Volvo community.
The infamous glove test.
Yes, and you can look it up. You don't have to watch our video. I'd love it if you did, because thank you for the quarter. But if you wanted to, you can literally just Google how to do a glove test. I think our video is one of the top search results, but you can find it on literally every single forum known to man about Volvos. But it literally is oil cap off, glove on, rubber band around, the end. That's it. If it blows up, bad. If it sucks in, you're good. That's it. Super easy, and it will literally take you 5 minutes.
There you have it.
I hope that helps, and I hope your PCV system is not totally shit the bed.
Yeah. There's your words of wisdom and sermon from Father Mattei here at the Church of the Volvo.
Yes, in nomine Patri Filii Spiritus Sancti.
God bless you. Antoine asks.
Oh, it's Rob.
Antoine asks how's.
Look, hey Rob, what's up? Good to see you.
Antoine asks how has Hansen been feeling when he heard the news that the Veloster N is out the door.
He was happy because his immediately skyrocketed in value.
Pretty much, it went up in price almost immediately.
Wait, these are being discontinued? I just made $5,000. This is wonderful.
Yeah. It's that's pretty much it. I mean, it sucks to lose a performance car, like an old school performance car, right? Internal combustion manual box, that sort of stuff. But it's the world we live in. That's why when these cars come out and we have the means, we need to embrace them. We need to encourage people who can buy them to buy them. because, frankly, every single limited production, gasoline-powered, performance-oriented car that is basically the range topper. So STI to Subaru, N to Hyundai, Shelby to Mustang, Polestar even to Greg's Volvo and stuff like that, but probably not to an extent, that much of an extent.
Yeah, M to BMW.
All of those, AMG, all of those, the last few generations of badass internal combustion engines that they make, those cars are the collector car of the future. They just are.
Oh, for sure.
It's not even a question. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure it out. And that's why, even if it seems a little pricey to spend 30, 40,000, like a Civic Civic R, it's probably the last one. Last one before it gets hybridization. That car, then the fact that it's a modern R, and the fact that it looks 9 million times better than the old one. That car right there, even though like a $40,000 price tag seems steep for what is effectively a Civic, those things
it'll be
in 10, 15, 20 years time, those things you're going to see that same thing. They start to climb in price. You know, it's not like Type R's from the 90s were trading for huge bucks. And then eventually, you know, all the people who lusted after those cars as kids, us, started buying them. The price went up. Fun fact, actually, I just watched a video where a Integra Type R, the old one, was only 0.2 of a second slower than the new Acura Integra in the quarter mile.
I know that video. I saw it. It was
Haggerty.
Jason Camisa on Haggerty. And good point of clarification there. That is the ITR, top of the line from the 90s. What are you doing? That noise is so obnoxious. Is that poker chips?
Yeah. Sorry.
Start chip shuffling or doing something like this and stop slamming them in my ears. But I know that the ITR was 0.2 slower, but it's important to understand that Integra is literally just the base model. So when Integra does come out with like the Type S, it should utterly slaughter the Type R, the old Type R. However, I still have the old Type R. It's just cooler looking.
Yeah, but it's also double the price.
Probably triple at this point.
Yeah,
there's like $80,000 or $90,000 ITRs out there, and
I
don't see the Integra Type S eclipsing 40K.
So here's one. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this.
Right back.
Oh, wait, what? You're leaving?
I am. I've had a few of these, so I may or may not need to hear.
All right, just hold it for 1 second. Hold one second.
What?
That generation Integra, I've always loved the body style. I always loved it when wide body, I forget the kit, but it's a simple fender flared wide body kit. I always thought it would.
I've never seen a wide body kit.
I always, even in standard trim, if you flare the fenders just a little bit, in standard trim, those things, I always thought it'd be cool to drop all of the componentry out of it, get a custom subframe, and do an S2K driveline.
That would be cool. That would be really awesome.
Because here's the thing now. He hasn't finished it, but Soupy over at Hoonigan had a regular base Integra or a GR, whatever not the base.
The GSR?
He had one of those, and he's actually all-wheel drive swapping it. So if you can all-wheel drive swap it, it means you can rear-wheel drive swap it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But like apparently that's like the best thing the Honda CR-V ever did was make it easy for Honda boys to go all-wheel drive.
That would be cool. That would be neat. I would watch that build on YouTube. I would do that build on YouTube if we had that kind of money.
Yeah, and know-how.
That's true.
Rob's like,
and speaking of, actually, kind of brings up an interesting topic. Hansen, from Antoine's previous comment, Hansen's been having some really good cars with his reviews, by the way. If you guys haven't been watching on the main channel, there's one in particular that's sort of along the same lines. Is quick two-door car is the new GT86, and he says is an absolute like riot to the point of like you should buy it because it's that good.
Yeah.
And totally hear you. I'm not really a huge GT86 or BRZ fan,
Or even GR86 and a partridge and a Toyobaru pear tree.
Right. But either way, like apparently it's just that good that Car and Driver actually just put out, I think, a title of maybe someone else, but someone just put out a title on an article saying the best $30,000 Porsche, and it was the
that's
GT86.
that's not a new take. The Haggerty's had that take for a while. They did a video on it.
But it's accurate. Like
it's a continuation of a 944.
Right. Yeah. Very much.
But
so,
like
yeah.
to the point where
it really is.
You mentioned Jason Camisa. He said that they should give out free GR86s to like, you know how like if you buy a 918 you get a 911 or something like that.
Yeah.
They said if you buy a GT3, a 911 GT3, it should come with a free GR86 so you can learn car control.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. The chassis and that platform is just that good. I would
Still
agree.
not a big fan of the looks and those.
I think it's better than it used to look.
Yeah, I like the original body style better. It would just be better if they just went full Japan Kumbaya and, you know, Toyota, Subaru, and then they knocked on the door and asked if, you know, Honda had any K motors lying around.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'd be for that. I'll be right back.
Alrighty. All right, let's get to a few more comments from Rob here. Polestar has branched off its own thing. Yes, but we were talking about Greg's Polestar, which is the good old days of Polestar because they change so frequently. Just another electric Geely with mild Swedish flavor. Greg has thoughts on that. And then top speed and quarter mile times and horsepower have lost meaning. Your value is more in its handling. Driving slow cars fast is the new attraction, like the MX-5. Civic Si is a much better value than an R and STI. To true enthusiasts, I totally get that point. Totally understand the value of being able to enjoy your car, more of your car, at less lethal / illegal speeds. Case in point, in the C30, I can have a little more fun than the Mustang because the Mustang in second gear is illegal. It's just the way it is. And it's not subtle and all that. But, and this is a huge but, there is something intoxicating about that car and the noise it makes and the ability to just put your foot down and it goes. But I totally see the appeal. Like, there's a reason why the Miata's been around for forever. There's a reason why, you know, the GR86 and Subaru BRZ exist, like, and continue going and all that other sort of stuff. It's because people like cars that they can have fun in that don't break the bank. And if you try to keep budget to $35,000, you end up with a Miata type vehicle. You end up with a GR86 type of a vehicle. You start trying to get more power, and all of a sudden you have a $40,000-$45,000 vehicle on your hands, and at which point the interior starts to not make so much sense. Like you end up like the price keeps kind of swinging to where like you end up with a car that's the people who want it can't afford it.
Yeah, and that's a good point because you start to say like, all right, well, what can I afford? Oh, I can afford a $25,000 two-door sports car. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, but what if we added leather seats? Well, that's another, $2,000 option because you get leather seats with like this technology package and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, you know what? I think I still could afford $27,000, $28,000. Oh, but you know what? If I'm thinking about $28,000, what about the WRX? And then you start to like play this game in your mind of like, what else can I afford? And then suddenly you've gone from this $25,000 afford. That's $100,000. Like, wow, how did I get here? This is a really bad line of thinking. I can't afford this at all. What's going on? But we always sort of play that like mental game, right? Like, what else can I potentially afford here in this scenario? So, moral of that story is, if you want something, don't add things. Just get it and be done with it.
Right. Or if you want, again, when buying a car, there has to be priorities. So, like, for example, when I bought my Mustang, I wanted the performance package, and I
Right.
did want, I wanted sort of the PP2, right? The performance and premium package, because I wanted the Recaros,
Yep.
I wanted the big touchscreen and all that. But more importantly, and the concession I was willing to make was I will take the performance package overall because big brakes, better cooling, better suspension, better rear end gearing. Although when the supercharger goes on it, I'm going to have to go back to 355s. But in any rate, like that was the stuff I wanted before I even started looking out for it. Because if you start pricing a Mustang with that level, Corvettes start to creep into the equation. C6 Corvettes
Right.
start to creep in, and you're like, well, it's a Corvette, blah blah blah, and you're like, no.
Right.
So,
Right. And that's, again, it's that same game you play with yourself. Like, oh man, well, if I'm spending this much on this car, if I could eke out another 5,000, I could buy this, that, and the other thing with this car. Like, it's just,
it's a never ending.
just how
It's just
we
like
are.
modifying your cars, right? There's no end.
Yes.
Like you've been the only one disciplined one. Well, actually, I guess Hanson is the most disciplined one here that is okay with what the factory gives him.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. Oh, I mean, up until today, I was okay with my Polestar, and then we decided. Well, I decided to go away for the weekend, and I decided to drop it off to my buddy Sean, who's a master tech over at Volvo in East Hanover, New Jersey, and I decided to have him install a downpipe for me. And then I drove it home, and I'm like, "Wow, I'm an idiot. I should have done this a long time ago because it was freaking
It's a
epic.
drug. It's a drug. It's a
It
drug.
really is."
Antoine goes the Elantra N, $33,000. Everything about the Elantra N is fantastic and phenomenal, and I love the idea of almost like a European touring car style of car here. The
Yep.
problem is I don't think I can deal with the way it looks. The front end on those is
Yeah, it looks like I don't know, looks like a fish that's been karate chopped in the sides. I'm not a fan.
but like
I'd much rather have
here's
I'd much rather have a used Veloster N than a new Elantra N.
Oh, 100%. But here's the catch-22 of it. I want people to make cars like this. I don't want them to not make cars like
Yeah.
this. And then, this is a great car. 270 plus horsepower, all the performance goodies you want, manual box, everything. And it comes with the same tire as Porsche uses on, I forget, it was in that video we referenced earlier. I think it was the GT3 or something like that. Super serious about making a performance car. And then the whole front end is a grill.
Yeah, it does look like yeah, it's just enormous.
And
It's just a predator mouth.
I get it. You want to be different. You want to stand out. All this.
Yeah.
Note to automotive designers. I'm assuming at least 10 out of the 12 of you are. Stop. Learn from the first or the previous generation Type R. Learn from this. We want these cars. We just don't want to do this when we walk away from them. We want simple, elegant cars. And that's the crazy thing. It's you would look at this and you would think electric car, 10 out of 10, right? It's got that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of the direction a lot of electric cars are going. And nope, it's that. Just wait until the mid-cycle refreshes. Mid-cycle refreshes usually end up being better than their 3-year first cycle styling model years anyway, more than likely.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that needs to go on here to fix that. And to that point, the 2018 to 2022 Mustang, I don't think looks as good as my generation of Mustang. But that's my 2 cents. Rob
I agree with that.
installed a 11-inch touchscreen with backup camera and Apple CarPlay in his XC90. I did it, but what a complete pain in the ass it was. Welcome to modifying cars.
Yeah.
Yes, Christian, electric cars don't have grills, but they have paint to make it fool us. Look at how Tesla was in the first few years.
Yeah. And now they have Neo from the Matrix when he was getting his mouth closed up.
Pretty much. Mr. Anderson. Mike's been I've been afraid to test drive it because I love how it looks and everyone's saying it's awesome. So if I drive it, I'll probably end up buying it. I'm assuming we're still talking about the Electra N. But hey, look.
Good. Buy it. Don't listen to us.
I want everybody to get this straight.
We don't matter.
Buy what you want. You know,
yep.
I sit here and critique this car. Kind of it's partly what we do. Not for nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not going to sit here and say if someone looks at that and that is their dream car, I'm not going to sit here and tell them not to. Because everybody should buy their dream car if they have the means because of the joy it brings, of the, you know, that
right.
it inspires companies to make cars like this and all that. So by all means, I don't care what you drive. If there's a genuine passion behind the car itself and you look at it as a thing you want to own, not a thing you need to own. A thing, you know, like you don't buy a car because it's just another tool in the life toolbox, right? You bought it because it does bring you some form of joy, some form of excitement, some form of like just puts a smile on your face every time you get in it, look at it, do whatever, turn the stereo on. I don't care. If it does that, that's what car culture is all about. And I might sit here and look at it and go, okay, but if you like it. So anyway.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Yes, Antoine, I did see that the next gen Mustang is going to be September. I forget the exact date. I think it's like 12th or 13th, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And that one said 12th.
I'm cautiously optimistic because I really hope it doesn't look like a Kia Mustang from some of the renderings about it. So it's interesting. I'm curious to see what they do. I'm curious to see, if they evolve the Coyote a little bit more, or if they have even two versions of the Coyote. I think I heard some grumblings of that. Don't think it's necessarily too possible, but we'll see. But a new Mustang always cause for excitement, especially since this one's keeping a V8 that screams. Regardless of if it's hooked up to a hybrid system, it doesn't matter. That engine's note and power delivery is something to behold.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we get Greg with something with a V8 in it, and we have fun.
Me too. I hope that would be awesome. Right now, the top of my list I have 3 cars on my list that I really want. One of which I wouldn't have a car payment on. Two of which I would have a car payment on. The one I'm in the market for is a Volvo 855R, just because I really love them. I think they're cool. That car would not have a car payment on it because they're cheap enough. The other 2 are another E9X M3, just because I really loved that car, honestly, and I don't know, it left a really good impression on me because of my family's history with BMW, because we've had them in my family since the early 80s, so I have a deep connection with BMW, and the E9X platform is really the BMW that I fell in love with growing up when I was like driving out of college and I could potentially afford a car. So I would really love that. The other one is a C6 Corvette of some kind. So Corvette and Mustang would be a really cool combo to put on.
Inception screen.
Whoa, what's happening? Oh my
Sorry,
god.
chat.
Kill it fast. Kill it with fire.
2 of those things I can get on board with.
I know you're not a fan of old BMWs.
The Corvette and the Volvo are just so much more interesting. Like, get an old 850.
They are.
Get an old 850 wagon shell that's in good working order, and then get a V70R drivetrain. Make the 2 meet in the middle.
Well,
profit.
Oh, drivetrain. Okay, never mind. I was like, wait, no. The those had a 5-cylinder, so no. I mean, the front wheel drive isn't that bad of a thing, just because if it's a cool, fun car. You know, to your point again, to your point of like.
I mean, not for nothing.
Like,
The Haldex is front wheel drive biased anyway, so you don't even know, like.
oh yeah, exactly.
You
So
know.
it's not like it's a drastic reduction, but you know, to have fun on a back road, like a front wheel drive car is perfectly fine, especially if it's hooked up right.
Yeah.
So, but either way, but right, the C6 and the Volvo are interesting cars. I actually disagree with you. I think the E90 or E92 M3s are very interesting because they are the only V8 M3 ever made, and I find that to
Wrong.
be very interesting. What?
The E46 had 50 with a V8 made. The M5 V8.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
The I forget what it is. E46 BMW M3. Oh, what the hell was it?
Is it serious? Is that real?
Oh, let me see if. Oh, I think it's GTR.
Is that? There's no way. I've never heard of this.
Yeah, here we go.
E46.
E46 M3 GTR. It was a homologation special because the GT car that raced at Le Mans had the V8 engine, and the ACO and FIA is like, a moment of your time. You don't actually make this. Go make it or get rid of it. And they made it.
No shit. Oh, all right. I'm now seeing the body, and I do know what you're talking about. Yes. Okay. Let me rephrase. It is the only mass-produced M3 with a V8, which is interesting to me. Special versions that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars aside. I think that the E90 and E92 M3s are very interesting because they have a V8. They were the only mass-produced M3 with a V8 that most people buy. But it literally is the only V8 M3 that, well, people other than Chad know about. So, I mean, that's cool. Like, this is a pretty badass bitchin' car. However, if it's my money, I'm not buying this. I'm buying an E90 or E92.
If you can afford this, you buy this.
If I can afford this, I'm buying an R8. I'm not buying this.
Oh my god, you used to be cool.
I'm sorry, but a V10 R8 with a gated manual transmission is not as cool as that. Lies.
That BMW is way cooler, and here's why: because they didn't just rebody a Lamborghini.
Or
it's its own
the other way
car.
around. They just rebodied an Audi because that's how it worked.
Perception is 9/10 of the rule, my friend. Everybody's going to look at you and think, oh, you couldn't afford the Lambo. That's it.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
I understand.
Either
honestly
way,
speaking,
fine. I'll buy a fucking.
Honestly speaking, I would rather
Gallardo,
take an R8 V8, build the motor, boost it, and have that noise versus the V10.
I mean, I wouldn't boost it. I would never boost a V10.
Just real quick, Antoine says, hopefully it doesn't have the shitty SMG transmission. Here's a fun fact about the SMG transmission that came in the E46 M3. It is the easiest it's one of the easiest manual conversions you can do because it is a manual gearbox with hydraulics replacing what your left foot does.
Yep.
So you can actually strip it, put on some manual parts. I'm not saying it's a backyard project you can do in 2 hours, but it is something you can do, and you don't have to buy a brand new transmission.
Yes.
We had a couple comments basically saying to the effect that Chevy has killed off Chevy and Dodge are getting rid of V8s. Ford is the winner. Agree. Win.
Oh, Dodge just announced that they're actually keeping the Hellcats, by the way. They're not just going away when they do the what's it called? The e-muscle stupid thing. they're actually keeping the Hellcat engine, so they're going to continue that alongside the EV muscle cars, which is cool.
So as a crate motor, or as like something they just get
No,
drunk
like a real
and
thing,
throwing
like
something?
production. No, production. They're full production.
So they're keeping. So wait, hold on. Back
Yeah.
up.
Yes. Yes. Everything you're thinking. Yes.
The Challenger that exists right now with a Hellcat engine in it will
Yes.
be. They will continue to make that when they make the switch to e-muscle.
Yes.
For how long?
They just someone had an article about it. I don't know if it was Motor Trend or Car and Driver. I literally saw it in my feed. I'm doing what everyone shouldn't do right now and just read the title and not read the article, but I haven't had a chance to read the article yet. However, from what I gleaned from the first couple of paragraphs, and not the entire thing, they are actually going to continue V8 production and put it in Hellcats and Challengers, or put it in Challengers and Chargers and stuff alongside the e-muscle stuff.
So they're gonna have.
At least that is what the article said.
So they're gonna have 2 production lines. So like, let's just say hypothetically speaking,
Yep.
the new Challenger variant's called the Barracuda, and the new Charger variant is the Charger. What? Like that means the V8 stuff's gonna be crazy expensive.
Oh yeah, I think that's the point. I think because they know that the market's there, they're going to have the EV stuff with the cool tech and whatever, and then they're also going to have the stuff for the old school people, but just upcharge it. That's my guess.
I mean, I kind of dig that line of thinking. Like, all right, this is the
I mean, why
last
would you
V8
not,
we're ever
though?
making. We're just gonna make it into. Hey, if they can pull it off, that means better for us, man. Better for us.
Yeah.
Rob asks, Tyler Hoover loses a high-stakes poker hand, and either of you get to take one of his cars. Which one are you making him cry over? Whatever one makes him cry the hardest.
Yeah, Chad doesn't like Nuvi at all.
It goes back to very early days in shifting lanes and our BMW, but and him being basically a big YouTuber bully. But it happens, so whatever. We're going on. I got a Mustang now, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't I know of Hoovy. I'm friends with Tavarish. Freddie and I talk on the regular. I know at Bolian we talk, every once in a while. I've literally never said 2 words to Hoovy in my entire life. I don't really watch his channel.
I just don't. The way he talks,
really...
the way he acts, the way he kind of handles himself, I just feel like he goes into a shopping market with an upside down pineapple.
So swinger?
He's got that vibe, man.
I don't know. I don't get the swinger vibe from him. I just don't enjoy his videos, and that's not a knock.
No,
it's more of just like there's a lot of people I like that I don't watch their videos.
5-year-old grudge, a little bit.
Yeah,
but
to that point, like I don't know what he owns.
Yeah.
Like so, the only thing that I could say that I would take from him is
whatever's in their most recent car.
SLS now. Doesn't he have an SLS now? I'd probably take his SLS.
You're asking me because I watch his stuff on the regular.
I'm not asking you. I'm just like talking to myself. I have no idea. I don't know what he has at all. Yeah, I really just have no idea. Does he have a Countach? I'd take a Countach. I don't know. Whatever his most expensive car is, I'll take that from him.
I'll take whatever he's most emotionally attached to.
Yeah.
I want a piece of his soul. Let's see here.
Oh yeah, Antoine said when we were talking about interesting cars and the V8s and stuff, he had said something to the effect of the V10 M5, that it's the only. Oh yeah, here we go. E60 M5, the only V10 manual super sedan made by BMW's M division, and rightfully so because
I feel like that's a direct challenge.
Shit heap.
Because he's like, oh, is there another one, Chad? Like, Mr. Know-It-All.
That V10 was horrible. That was one of the worst engines BMW ever made, just because of how unreliable it was. It was awful. I would never, ever, 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 ever own an E60 M5, manual or otherwise. I would never buy that car. I would buy that engine. I would buy that engine as a crate motor. I would fortify the engine with ungodly amounts of money, and I would drop it into literally anything else other than that M5.
You got me excited, Rob, when you said second gen Viper, second body style Viper. It was. Never mind. Not to be the guy Antoine's mocking me for being. I'm gonna assume the know-it-all, but the first
pedantic.
Yes.
Pedantic.
Yes, but because I'm a Viperphile and I will have a Viper at some point in my life. The first gen is the RT convertible. The second gen is the coupe. The third gen is what he has in that show. Still awesome cars, and I'm not trying to be a dickhead. I'm just trying to educate, just like I educate Greg. So I've been best friends with Greg for 20 plus years. So you're in the same vein as him.
Well, that's why I'm so dumb.
Shut up.
Chad keeps educating.
Shut up, Meg, Greg.
I'm just stupid. Did you say Meg, Greg?
Yeah.
You can just say Greg. It sounds the same.
I said, shut up, Meg, Greg.
This is why I'm dumb.
Oh, two kids.
Oh my god.
25th anniversary Countach in white, red leather interior. There you go, Greg.
Ooh, that's good. I'll take that. And then I'll immediately sell it and buy 4 other cars.
Well, you haven't bought one of Tavares's cars in a while.
Yeah. Well, I asked him about a C6 Z06, but that was not in the cars at the time.
No, he wants a smidge high for.
Well, he did sell it. He sold it already.
Good for him.
He sold it for. I think he sold it for around 40.
Oh God,
which is about right for a C6 Z06 with headwork.
Yeah, but I mean, anytime you modify a car, you don't get the mod money back. Case in point, what'd you buy Tavares's Aston for? If you don't mind my asking.
36.
What'd you sell it for?
36. I know. But I mean, like, my mods were all aesthetics. You never get aesthetics back.
Yeah.
There are platforms where if you mod it, that you do get your money back. Like V70R P2s, if you fortify the engine, you'll get that money back.
Right.
Which I did. The money I didn't get back was all the maintenance and stuff.
Right. I mean,
the stuff that I did to upgrade it and make it a more reliable car, I did get back.
I think you should get the 850 wagon. I think that's cool.
It's cool. I would love an 850 wagon. I love an 855R.
I mean, I think 850 wagon, because it's not an 855 here, brother.
Yeah, but a lot of Volvo people know it as an 855. It's the only reason I say it. It's the same thing with like the E90 and E92 M3. It's the same reason why we say that.
Oh, I totally get that. An E93 M3 convertible.
Yeah.
But I think that would be.
It's cool. It's a cool car.
It's
plus.
Didn't Eric used to have
one of
those?
Our buddy.
Eric's a buddy in high school.
Racing cars.
He had an 850.
Yeah, Eric.
Right?
Yeah, Eric had one.
He had the sedan.
He had an S70. He had an S70. It was the sedan version. Yeah, he had a. I think he had an 850. Crashed it, and then got an S70.
Wasn't there a Cadillac Brougham in the mix?
The Cadillac came after.
Okay.
That was in college.
Yes, it was.
The Volvos were high school.
Yeah. Rob asks, how much did the wrap on the Aston work? Or the wheels were crazy expensive. I remember that.
Yeah, the wheels. So the wheels were. The wrap. I mean, the wrap cost is what it is, because a good wrap will cost you $3,000 to $4,000 per shop, and that's basically what the wrap cost for the Aston. It should have cost more, because that car is an absolute pain in the ass to take apart, according to the wrap shop. And this is a wrap shop that does Rolls, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Audi R8s, like
Aston Martins,
anything you can think of. Aston Martin. No, they basically do no Aston Martins. But literally everything, he's just like, yeah, everything else comes apart easier. This car sucked. It absolutely sucked. And I'm like, sorry. I mean, thank you for wrapping my car, but sorry. That's what I paid you to do, man. And he was like, yeah, it's fine. It's just like this car sucks compared to the other ones. But yeah, I forget. I honestly forget the cost. It's been so long. It's been like 4 years now. I want to say 3,500 just to be split the difference, which was about the price of the wheels too, because those were custom wheels that came from BC Forge and NA, and BC Forge also a very good company, and I would definitely get another pair of wheels from them because they're fantastic and they can do whatever spec you want. Same thing as like Vorsteiner or HRE or whatever. It's like a budget HRE wheel.
Huh.
Yeah, they were cool.
I remember,
they were good.
I think you and I talked about it. I think the Mustang, if I could pull it off right, I want to get it in a Lark livery when I'm done, when the bodywork's done.
Lark is sweet just because that's like a classic.
I didn't like it at first, and then I kept watching DDE and the 720 GTR build that they did, and I'm like, that is growing on me and growing on me and growing on me.
Yeah.
And that charcoal and like pearlescent pink, dark pink that almost has a tinge of orange to it.
Yep.
That'd be so cool, but I'd also like never want to drive the car anywhere because.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah. You would need a daily for your daily.
Yeah, well, that's what the truck's for. Hopefully.
There you go.
Alrighty. Anything else in the world of the San? You're up late tonight.
Yeah, so it's 10:13. So no, I have to go check one of my children so they don't pee the bed. But no, nothing else on this end. And if you guys are interested, Chad's going to stay on, as he has the last couple times, and do some sweet F122 gaming.
Yes.
So, Rob, hang on YouTube, and everyone else hang on Facebook. You guys can continue watching. Chad's going to play some video games and continue conversing with you guys. So, as I sign off, thank you everyone for watching. And thank you for the stars. Thank you for the support. Jafar, you're amazing. As always, Mike, thank you so much for your stars as well. And for commenting so much. Thank you, Antoine and Christian and everyone else that's commented throughout. You guys are fantastic. You guys keep this stream going. We'll be back again next Monday with another show, and we'll have a couple of cool topics. One other thing to look out for, I don't think this week, but maybe next week, I did modify my Volvo V60 Polestar. We put a downpipe on it, and I will say right now, it sounds utterly ridiculous because Volvos should not sound like what it sounds like now. I keep saying my V70R was one of the best sounding Volvos of all time. I'll be 100% honest, this is actually getting pretty close, just with a downpipe. It sounds amazing to the point where I was feathering the throttle, and in this car, when you have it in like sport mode and you're doing the paddles, you can have it in a certain gear, and you can feather the throttle and it gives little pops and cracks. Every time I do it now, it's nothing but gunshots. So it's pretty bananas. So yeah, I'm really excited to kind of see that. So yes, Mike, there will be sound clips. I don't have them at the ready right now. They're all on my GoPro upstairs. So on Shifting Lanes 2 next week, when I put out a vlog of the V60 Polestar, go subscribe to that channel and put notifications on so you guys know. By next Monday, it might not be out, but it might be out after that. The sound won't do it justice on a camera. It does sound ridiculous. So it'll be good. I promise it'll be a very, very good video with a lot of sound clips, and if it's not next Monday, the Monday after, I'll give Chad some sound clips to put on stream so you guys can hear it.
Maybe we'll make it an alert noise.
Yeah. Just
people enjoy the sound of Volvos that keep donating.
Yes.
Yeah, you did learn some things, Ron. Greg signing off. Thank you to Greg as always. The time flew by tonight, and I actually mean it this time, which
yes, it did.
So but yeah, so I'm gonna take about a 5 or so minute break, and then we're going to hop into some gameplay and see what's what. You know, I won my first race last week, so continuing the fight. And as always, guys, the rule is, so if you see at the bottom of the screen here, you see how I'm technically the second most donator of all time. That's 10 or that's 1,000, 1,000 stars that I donated to the channel. Now, this isn't me just trying to, oh no, I'm paying myself with myself. Every time I restart a race in F1, or a session or a qualifying or something, that's my penalty. And then at the end of in either the next stream or the end of the month stream, we're going to give that back to you guys. So my competitiveness is your gain. So
so if Chad gives us 3,000 stars, someone's getting $30.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Someone's getting $30, or you can get merch or something. But like my penalty is to give back to you guys, whether it be merch, whether it be cash, whether it be a week's vacation paid for by Greg with Greg in an outfit of your choosing.
No, please no Borat thongs.
But
Actually,
you guys get what I'm saying. So we are. So Greg, I'll see you.
Yes.
And
I'm out.
Guys, stay tuned if you want. I'll be back in about 5 or so minutes. With
I'll see you guys later. Peace.
With the F1. Alrighty, chat. What's up? How we doing? Welcome back. Thank you to those who have stuck around. This is our weekly, basically our weekly F1. I'm going through the career mode. A couple of you have reached out. If you're looking for me on EA and Xbox, it's Kennedy1. Send me a friend request. Maybe if we get enough people, we can do some user or races with chat. I put my gamer tag in the chat, so if you guys want to hit me up, EA and Xbox for the moment. I will be doing, I will be swapping over to PlayStation at some point. As you can see, I'm kind of doing the free trial here. So, but we're gonna kind of hop into it, and we're gonna hop in. Got my first win last week, so I'm really looking forward to that. Getting into it. Like I said, John was in chat earlier. We're going to be doing some games with him coming up here. So stick around. So we're going to hop right into it. So. All right. So as some of you may or may not know the rules are simple. If I restart, whether it be a qualifying session or a race, I donate 10 stars back to the shifting lanes, and then we do a giveaway towards the end of the month. If I do it enough, we do a giveaway next week. So we're gonna hop into it. We're now at Catalunya, which is across every single racing game my least favorite track. There's a couple corners here that I never, ever get right. So, so we're gonna just kind of hop into it. What do you guys think? Should I think I'm gonna go for medium on the race length. Give it a shot this time, but for now, we're just gonna learn the track. Get some practice in, and so on.
We're going to be logging some extra data during this session. Nothing you need to worry about, but as we have some new parts on the car, we'll just confirm they're performing to spec.
And we're off to a great start. Look at those.
Well done. That's P1.
We're not fastest in practice, but
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top three. Perez, Maverick, and George Russell. And if today's practice is
there we go. Alrighty. Ah, try to get cute with the trail braking. Rule. Oh, this is terrible. '17th, yay, yay, moron. Oh boy.
and with qualifying complete, let's
Oh, and our
review our
teammates on
top
pole. Yes. What a doofus.
Let's run you through the driver grid. Or Natalie Pinkham, a lot of talented drivers out on.
Okay, now that we've got some good points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Wake up.
Great manoeuvre. You made it look so easy. DRS is being enabled this lap. You can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
On. So stupid. It's absolutely freaking moronic. Like, the sensitivity in this is so stupid. Like, I'm either full lock or nothing. Like, so I can't adjust steering input once I'm in a corner. What's going on, Josh? Yeah, that's the Warzone tone coming out.
Okay, focus. We need to stay on form.
No shit. My tire's already crap. That's great. Oh, I hate this track. I gotta fucking focus, man. Holy crap.
Let's use overtake and burn off some of this energy. We're approaching the pit window and you're going to be on mediums. You're dropping a second a lap to the car behind. 1 second. car ahead by a couple of seconds a lap now. Really good. Okay, be aware, the grip levels are going to start falling away soon. In this lap, push now.
What I need. Oh, that was a risky play. And it's backfiring in my face. Nice.
Gap to the car in front is 7.1 seconds. Jensen's coming in for his stop now.
I don't want to get stuck, so I'm not going to risk it.
Be aware the car behind has newer tyres. The car behind on newer tyres, you know what to do.
bit cheeky. Oops.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. Look after these tyres now, you want to finish the race on this compound.
Yeah. No such thing as light inputs in this game, Josh. Small adjustments don't seem to be your friend. Gosh! Push and you make mistakes. Golly.
Brilliant, nice move, keep going.
Heh.
Might see some rain, ETA about 15 minutes. Okay, gap ahead is 6.7 seconds. but that was the fastest lap of the race so far. That's just 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Okay. Looks like yeah, Josh, I have a rule that anytime I have a rule, Josh. Anytime I restart, I gotta. Why is this not?
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Alright, I'm gonna have to do this after the stream. Alright, let's start this dumbass track again. God, I hate this place.
Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
That worked.
Okay, the virtual safety car's been deployed. Slow down and maintain a positive delta. Return the position immediately or we're going to get penalised. There's no overtaking during the safety car period.
And you was giving my place back.
You've got to give that position back, mate. We're under safety car conditions and you
Don't
can't
be with
overtake.
me.
Return the position.
What a dipshit. He passes me. What is that crap? Bullshit, man. Holy shit, this game is fucking testing me tonight. Holy crap. Can we get rid of the virtual fucking safety car? Like, let's go. Thrilling gameplay, guys. I apologize. What is happening?
Right, let's pick up the pace a touch, please. We need to close to within 10 car lengths of the car ahead.
Yes, Josh. Great for chat. You gotta go chat like $30. 20 maybe? What is going on?
Safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap. Let's make sure those tyres are up to temperature. Remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Stay in position until the green flags. Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more. Okay, good work. Great pass. There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
nonsense. Scared.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
They break so goddamn early. Oh, I was paying attention. Damn it, Brett. Yes. Even in this, we're blaming Brett.
Your late turn-in meant we had a slower than planned pit stop, I'm afraid. Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now. timing screens tell us you're 12 seconds off the next car right now. Let's see if we can reduce that over the next few laps. Jensen is in the pits. Jensen in the pits. Okay, battery's looking good. You can use the overtake button to get past. Seconds. You made it look so easy. Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Ew.
We've got a gap of about 3 seconds between you and the next car. Available on the MFD.
It's fucking... And the front tires are shit. Fuck! Out of the way. I'm in the wrong. Jesus Christ with the brake checking. Bad call, Chad.
Okay, you're in the top 10. Good job, nice overtake. Keep managing your tyres, manage your tyres.
Let you manage these nuts. Freaking way. Keep chopping me. Yeah, fine messing.
Come on, you can win that place back.
Fucking corner!
So we're expecting rain in about 10 to 15 minutes.
fellas, from here we'll
Okay,
finish
that's
it.
us with
Get me
5 laps
past
to
this
fuel remaining. 5 laps to
dog
fuel left.
crap track.
Our gap to the car in front is 2.8 seconds.
Ooh, that's a gaggle of cars. Just getting the toe. Bunker tires shot. Agree with you there, Josh. Really fast in this corner, so just don't fuck up entry like that.
Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps.
DRS.
Okay, this is your final lap of the race. Brilliant, nice move, keep going.
Ah, I pushed out. Oh boy, I tried to choke that away. Whoa. Holy moly.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Let's get to some of these comments. It's a tone I recognize. So. Yes. Game lag? Oh, there we go. Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure...
Job, teammate.
Let's have a look then at the driver's standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. So then, Natalie...
Alrighty. I believe there is matter of payment. Remember my backup weeks. Alex Gillian. To be honest, the only Josh, my inspiration for this is Stones playing F1. But I'll have to check him out because I've never actually, what's the word? Heard of him. All right, let's get back to it.
Our running costs are significantly less than the income we're pulling in. I suggest we start looking for opportunities to spend that profit margin.
Alright, can't upgrade that. Arrow. I should have done that. Oh well. A total wipeout. That was last. Oh my gosh, Monaco. Might see it in this one. Although. Crap. Put a little time in here, chat. I think it's Brett, Josh.
Okay, recommend taking wet tyres in the current conditions.
Like I look at that stuff again. Huh. Yes, when you nail Monaco, it's satisfying as hell. Not. That got far. Holy crap. Nah, Josh, I love the comments, man. Keep them coming. I miss you, man. You and your adulting. Holy cow, I can't control this.
Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and
Well,
wait for the
Brett.
marshals.
Are we happy? I just need to learn the track, man. Holy hell.
Well, what happened? Let me know you're okay.
Oh, Moses, this is hard.
Are you all right? Engine off, engine off.
Oh, snakies. Oh, no, Jack. Oh, shit, that's hard.
We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car.
All right, chat. Whew. That is where kind of think is where we're gonna call it. Just way too much focus required right there. We'll hit it next week. Actually, Friday, maybe. We'll see. Probably Friday on, if we do it, on at about this time. But yeah, I want to thank everyone for watching. Head over to the YouTube. Josh, ready for bed. That's as good a reason for me to call it a night as any. Guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.